Yay! Hey, everybody. Welcome to the shop. Prop Live in the shop here. I'm Bill. Brittany's hiding right there. Ta-da! Hi, gang. Thanks for joining us on short notice. We decided we wanted to do some live content for you guys this week from the shop. And we don't really have any projects right now that have good, like, live stream worthy things happening. So we decided that we would live stream me filming an episode of Prop Shop the way I normally do it. For example, the foam fabrication tip videos that we've been doing lately. We're gonna film one of those right now, and you guys can watch, and I'll show you all the gear that I use, show you all the techniques, my sort of process for filming everything, and you guys can check it out and chime in.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We got some people climbing in here. We are running the Q&A app. If you have any questions about the filming process, as you can see, I have a thing up here that says video gear list is in the description. So if you're curious about any of the video gear that I'm using, you just want to see what it is or maybe go buy something, there are links in the description to all of that stuff, so you can go check that out. If you have questions about any of that gear, or if you're thinking about getting video gear for yourself and you want me to chime in on that, let me know. Drop a question in the Q&A app, and Brittany's going to be here keeping an eye on that stuff as we go. Other than that, though, I think I am going to just dive right in and start showing you guys some of the gear that I use, because it's all sitting right here. All right. Let's go to the work cam, and we'll get started. All right. This is the project. We'll get into my notes in a little bit. But first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the gear that I've got. All my video type gear.
I'm going to get a piece of foam for that.
Okay, good call. For starters, the first thing I want to point out is that most of my video gear was actually purchased as photography gear. It all shoots video, but a lot of the specific reasons why I bought that stuff in the first place was to shoot photos, not video. So there's some of the things that I use are more photo oriented. I just repurpose them for video, and they work out okay. They're not necessarily the best for video, but I'll point that out. First and foremost, everyone wants to know what camera you use, what camera everyone else uses. I've been a Nikon fan for a long time, since my mom shoots Nikon and I could borrow her lenses back when I still lived near her. So I've got Nikon D7000. It's like a mid-level consumer-grade camera. It works really well. It shoots pretty good video. The best part about using a DSLR is that you can swap out your lenses. Ta-da! And you can get, for a fairly good camera, you can get a really nice lens and get a nice picture with your video. So that's the camera I use. The lens I have on here right now, my main lens is just a 50 millimeter 1.4. It's a little bit nicer than the 1.8. But my 1.8 fell in the ocean. So, so I got to upgrade. So that's the camera. Nothing too fancy about it. You can get by totally shooting video with an even cheaper camera. This guy, the 7200, I think, goes for about $1,000 brand new right now. You can get the 3200 or 3300, I think, for about half that, sometimes with lenses. So there's your camera option. More important than the video is the audio. I record the audio recording on this camera on most DSLRs is crap. This is an external audio recorder, and it's not even that good of one. It was about, I think, $80, which is pretty fair price for it. And this fella here, it's got its own stereo microphone on it. So, and it's got a tripod mount, and it's also rattly. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's got moving pieces in there. It wasn't designed to be that way. This is the Tascam DR05. There are a lot of options like this, depending on how much you want to spend. But again, it's got its own microphone. It's got a tripod stand on it. So if I have to record more than one person, I'll put this on a tripod and put it between them. So if Brittany and I are standing there, we just put it on a tripod and jam it between us. And it records pretty good. There are a lot of custom settings on here, so you can sort of fine tune how it records your audio. So pretty good. Most of the time, if you see me talking at the camera, I've got this guy plugged in. This is just a cheap. I think it was $8 lavalier mic from Radio Shack. It's battery powered. You have to make sure that this is on. It's got an on-off switch. If it's not on, then this will record 0 audio. And more than once, I've recorded an entire episode of Prop Shop talking at the camera, recording exactly 0 audio. So that's a good thing to know. Also, check that the battery is well charged in there. Otherwise, same thing. If the battery dies, you'll get no audio. So that's good to know. Always have spare batteries. But this thing is great. It runs on normal AA batteries. It's got a little micro SD card in there for transferring your files out. So I shoot all of my videos of me talking with this camera and this audio going at the same time, and then I dump both files into Adobe Premiere, and you can merge them. Just go merge clip. Good to go. You have good audio, which is way more important than good video, and you've got really nice video too. If you just want to shoot with your camera on your phone, that's fine, but I do recommend upgrading the audio. People are willing to forgive bad video, but not bad audio. All right, more stuff. And again, like I said, links to all of these. Which way am I pointing? Links to all of these, all the stuff I use are in the description. You can go check that out. For video, if you want good video, you need good light. And I have lots of different lights, mostly just the can lights that are hanging up in my shop everywhere. But I also have this guy down here. This I bought at like Office Max, and it's attached to my workbench, so I can move it when I'm working. I use this all the time, but I use it for video too. You'll see when I'm shooting the episode later, I'll be dragging this thing around and getting really good footage of stuff. If I just need a light and I need it in one spot, this thing is perfect for that. And I also have, actually, can we swap out to the other camera? See if we can see this guy. Can we move the camera back over this way? That's that guy right there, that white box, is a big soft box with a 500-watt light in it. So if I need a lot of light and I need it to be nice and soft, I use that guy right there. I've got a pair of those, and those things are awesome. That comes from back in your photography days when you were using a softbox. Yeah. So a lot of the gear Bill has started with his love for photography, which he still does as a hobby. Yeah. So we've acquired a lot of interesting lights and things. Yeah. I have some big studio flashes too, but they're not good for video because they just strobe. You need constant light. So I got those guys. But I only really use those when I'm filming myself talking. When I'm in the shop filming B-roll of me building stuff, I use a lot of these other lights. So if we go back to the top. These guys here are fantastic. These are like 30 bucks a piece now. They used to be so much more expensive. They're little LED panel lights, and they have a little sleeve so you can slide in different colors to sort of warm or cool your light. I bought, I think, 3 of these, and we just have them lying around the shop, and we use them for all sorts of stuff. They just turn on, and you can change the intensity. But if you need a little bit of light somewhere, these things are fantastic. I also got these clamp things here. It's a little kind of cheap, but I think these are like $8 each. Little ball head, so I can put I wouldn't put a camera on here, but you can put one of these little lights on there, and it's got a clamp. And I can clamp a light wherever I want, including the exposed beams in our basement here. So I'll just clamp one of these on the ceiling wherever I want it, and I can point the light wherever I need it. So those things are really good. I don't know where I got this guy here, but this is just a little screw-in tripod. I use that a lot too. All of these lights have both a flash adapter, a cold shoe adapter on there, and I've got a little tripod. So if I need to just set this up somewhere, ta-da, I can do that. These things are unbelievably handy, and I use them all the time. You'll see me using them when I film later on. Get some rechargeable batteries for those guys. Yes, definitely. Yeah, I'll forget and leave one on. It only lasts a couple hours. Yeah. The tripods I mentioned, we have a bunch of them. Here, why don't you go to the wider view? There. So this is the one I use most of the time. Again, this is a photography tripod. It's by Manfrotto. It's got the little shoe thing that you screw into the bottom of your camera here. And like I said, anything with that little screw, it's just a 1/4 inch threaded screw, like these lights or this audio recorder, they have the same threaded screws, so I can put them all on this tripod. And this thing goes on the tripod, and this just follows me around the shop when I'm shooting. So I just film myself doing my goofy thing with this guy. This is a little bit pricier of a tripod. I think the sticks are like $200, and then the ball head, which is a separate thing, was another $80. Again, not the best for video. There's some video tripods in my Amazon wish list that I really want, but those are like $500. So I don't know if I'll be getting any one of them soon. But again, it gets me by. If you're looking for a cheaper alternative, I have another thing over here. This is just a cheapo tripod. It's like 20 or 30 bucks. They have them on Amazon. And this one actually has this lever here for, and you can change how much it wants to move and everything. This is actually great for shooting video. If you want to get a panning shot or a tilting shot, you can do that with this. And even though this is like 10 times cheaper than that other tripod, I still use it all the time. So it's worth getting, at least having a cheap one. And also the great thing about a cheap one is I don't care what happens to this. If it breaks, I'll get another one. But it hasn't broken. I bought this like 5 or 6 years ago and it hasn't broken yet. So hooray. It's also aluminum and it's really, really light. Yeah, that's about that there. Let me just double check the gear list that I have. Why this needs to be like that.
Yeah, well, you're using the video, so.
All right. Let's just go here. Again, folks, if you have questions about any of the stuff I'm talking about, you can dump them into the Q&A app, and we will answer them for you.
Jackie Kraft in the chat was pointing out that Instructables has their Halloween costume contest going on right now, and some of their prizes are camera gear.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
A Pet Cube camera and a Samsung digital camera, I believe.
Fantastic.
And I've never entered one of their contests before, but I believe you have to do a DIY of your build.
Yeah.
And I think Steve won last year. Well, at least one of the categories. SKS props.
Yeah. So, see, we have tripod, lenses, ball head, lights.
That's Instructables.com. They will have the information for their contest there.
Cool. Well, that's about it. That's most of the gear that we use when we're shooting video around here. We have with the camera, we have a pair of them. We have 2 of those D7000s, and Brittany has one. I have one, but we'll use them sometimes if we need to shoot the same thing from 2 different angles. We'll set up 2 cameras. It's handy. Okay, on to the show. So the first thing I do when I'm going to film an episode is I write down my plan. And you guys really can't read it because it's blown out, but there's a bunch of words on here. And this is kind of what I end up doing when I basically, I film all of the building stuff first. I film me working on the things, building the props, showing off techniques and everything. I film all that without the audio. I don't talk during, I mean, I talk during it, but it doesn't get included in the final episode. I film all of that first, and I take notes on it. Like I have an outline, but I also take notes as I go. And then I use this outline when I'm filming the voiceover part, the part where I'm standing there talking at the camera. And I'll do that later. You'll get to see all that. It'll be really fun. You can watch me screw off and goof and stuff. But basically, I have a plan for just about every video I do. I have a plan. I know what I'm going to do. And I've already written that. I'm not going to make you guys sit through watching me plan all this stuff out. But I have it right here. So I know exactly what I need to do. And I've already gone and I've gathered all of my materials. Some videos, if I'm going to do a full prop build and I can't film it all in one day, then I don't need to gather all the materials. But for a video like this, I'm going to shoot it all at once. So I have everything I need. So I have all my camera gear. I have my lights. I have the examples over here I'm going to film. I have all the tools I'm going to need for it. I have my, I said lights already. Everything's all set up. I got my tripods right there, ready to go. And then I film it. And I just grab, I have a list of all, I know all the shots I need to get right here. And I'm just going to start filming that. So here we go. I don't need my audio yet. That'll be later. And let's see. I'm going to start by shooting examples. So I have some armor right here I want to film as an example. And I will just grab that. Grab my camera.
And so none of this audio you're going to use later.
Right.
The audio you're going to use is from your voiceover.
That's correct.
So you can have like music playing in the background.
Yeah. Usually, and that's usually what we have like podcasts or videos going. Usually when we're working, and that stuff you never hear because all that the audio for that gets dumped out. This here is a slider that I built. We used our 3D printer to figure out how to make these goofy wheels. It's not great. It's a prototype, but I'm going to use it to get some B-roll. Basically, another one of those ball heads got attached to this here, and I just screw my camera on there.
Yeah, you can buy camera sliders, but Bill just wanted to try making his own, see how it would work. And
if you're interested in building a camera slider, there are a million of them on the internet. But basically, now I can get a shot where my camera just slides along. So if I want to get an example of shacks, again, this light right here is super handy. I'll set up a light, something like that. I'll set up another light, something like this, to get a little more. And then I turn on my camera. And I want to get footage of these detail pieces here. That's what I'm going to do the episode on. So, and a note about how I shoot, too. Everything is fully manual. The exposure, the focus, for video. Usually I shoot fully manual so that it's not changing the exposure as I film. So I just plan my shot out, and I'm just gonna scoot along. I have my focus. Exposure looks good. Like that. This is so exciting. And I always shoot way more than I think I need. Because like this part I may only use like 2 seconds of this, but I always want to make sure that I get enough to use. And hard drive space is cheap, so let's see. I don't think I'm gonna pan. I think I'm just gonna tilt up and down.
And right now you have like 4 lights around your gear, so it's like seems like at least 3 lights is the way to go for lighting your shots, just to get lights from different angles, or else you get a lot of dark areas.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want it to be like a giant spotlight either.
Get some of Shep here.
Elliot is wondering how to answer other people's questions. It's not like Twitch chat. The chat we're using is a IRC channel. If you go over to punishedprops.com/live, there's information on how to join the chat. So we're not using the YouTube chat at all. So if there's people over in the YouTube section, we are not viewing that right now. There's too much of a lag. The IRC channel is really snappy, and we see real-time comments. So yeah, we got a bunch of people in that chat. You can see the chat is below the video right now, so you can see what people are talking about. So yeah, hop on in the chat.
There we go. So I grabbed just some basic footage of me filming my armor, because these are the pieces that I'm going to call out. And then usually I will go and put this crap away. I try and put everything away as I go so it doesn't get all messy. But I'm going to put him in the background so we just see him hanging out there. I don't think I'm going to use... You know what? I might as well grab some footage of my tools. So I'll just do that real quick. Got them all here. I'll do a cool camera slider shot on that too, just because I got it all set up.
So So these are all the tools you're going to use in your video.
Yeah. Get my light. And this is why this light is so handy. I can just crank it down. Like that. Oops.
Also in the chat, feel free to just, talk about your builds and whatever you're working on cosplay wise, and if there's anything you want to share, feel free to put links in the chat. Right now, Bill will probably only have time to answer questions about his filming process. So if you have any questions about making videos or the whatever he's currently working on. What's this video going to be about? Something about foam?
Foam tips.
For details?
Yeah. Doing intricate details and inlaid details.
I'm excited to watch you do this because I have trouble with foam intricate details.
There we go. All right, so I know, like, I've got my list of stuff here, my examples, I've got that. And then I want to, the rest of it, I'm probably going to shoot on my tripod. So I put this plate thing back on there, and I go hook it up on my tripod. This episode, by the way, will be out on Monday, I think. We're trying to do one of those a week. And this is actually my excuse to get it done early.
What do you record in 1080p?
Yes.
Okay. Do you ever end up cropping the image closer?
Occasionally, but not very often.
Okay.
But you can. There's some flexibility there. All right, so basically now I'm just going to film me doing all of the techniques I'll be talking about. And I just have my tripod, which is looser than it should be. Jerk. There we go. And I just filmed me. One thing I really want is a monitor for this so I can actually see what I'm doing. Because usually I set up my shot and then I go and I work. And I don't know if I really got it. I'm getting pretty good at nailing it first try, but it's a little hit or miss sometimes. Right. I do want to talk about the sharpener. So I will go over that real fast. Even though I probably have all kinds of sharpener footage. Like I said, it's not bad to overdo things sometimes. All right, so this is like the area where I'm going to be focused. Just dial that in.
One of the things Bill does too is, since he is recording high quality video, he can take screenshots from his video. So like for future blog entries or images he needs for his books, he can go back and look at these videos and pull a screenshot from it.
That, and then I'm going to watch the footage to make sure that it looks right. I can't tell you how many times I record something and then I look at it and it's like my hands are out of frame or something. Yeah. See, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. There, that looks all right. And of course I have WD-40 all over, so I will wipe that up. But now I don't need that. Could you just set that up by those orange things?
Oh, that's E. Miller is in the chat now. He interviewed you.
Yay!
About live streaming.
Well, we're doing it.
I believe you have some kind of stream you're doing later today too. Some kind of trivia thing. It's on the schedule.
A trivia thing?
I don't know.
I did that already.
It's on the schedule.
All right, I gotta.
It's probably for the wrong
it may have gotten moved.
Yeah.
I believe I already.
Never mind. You're free this evening to be in the show.
All right, so I have an example piece there, and I'm just gonna do all the techniques I'm talking about with the piece right here, and then I know what to talk about later.
There we go.
I'm not gonna do all. I'll do part of it, and then I'll go look at the footage, just just making sure everything's still in focus and making sure it looks the way I want it to look. Because I don't want to work for 10 minutes and film 10 minutes of footage when it's all useless. If it's going to be crappy, you want to make sure you realize it's crappy early on.
I've started doing some video recording to help Bill. So when I'm working on a project that's like one of his, helping out with one of his commissions, I'll take some video. So I'm learning all this too. This is great to know. One of the things I've started doing is, since my techniques aren't as refined, if I have to make 2 of something, I won't record the first one. And then when I get really good at it, I'll record the second one. So it looks like I know what I'm doing.
That almost went all the way through.
I'm still impressed that you freehand this stuff.
Just lots of practice.
Lots of practice.
All right. I want this shot to be a little tighter, so I move the camera in closer. All right.
Oh, the chat's talking about tiny brownies. That sounds amazing. Unless they're talking about the ones from Willow, then they are not delicious.
If I can look at the camera first to make sure my shot is right before I commit to it, then I make sure I do that.
I know one of the things Bill wants to invest in the future is one of those monitors that can face you. So it kind of like plugs into your camera. There are cameras that have that where the monitor pops out and you can swivel it around. Ours doesn't have that. But that will save Bill some pain later. Just being able to see his shots without having to go over the camera and look at it.
See, for this, I definitely need to change the angle a little bit. There we go. Cool. Tell you what, the filming stuff in a way that looks that so that when people see it, they know what's going on is really, really challenging. It's super easy to do something, and then when you're trying to talk about it later on, you look at the footage you shot and you're like, none of this is any good. It's just no good. It doesn't visually show off the thing that you're trying to do with it. For this one, I want to just score it, so I'm going to use this guy here. Set up the shot.
That hoodie he's wearing used to be like a brighter orange salmon color. It is no longer that color anymore. And also his shirt, like if he's painting the current shirt he's wearing, he just wipes paint on it. So it's just covered. Bill has nice shirts and then he has shop shirts, and the nice shirts will transition into shop shirts.
It is the natural order of things.
It's usually when he forgets to take off his nice shirt and is in the shop when the transition happens.
I'm going to leave that corner on so that I can make a point. Oh, and a lot of, I have notes in here to do some of this stuff wrong, specifically to show off a bad example. I found that just showing the right way to do it all the time. A lot of times people will see that and they're like, oh, I'm totally doing that. But when they see the wrong way, they're like, oh, I'm actually doing it that way. That can be a really helpful technique. I'm just going to use this for the heat gun because I want to pop that out.
Yeah. something to remember is if you have one of these cutting mats is to not use a heat gun on it because it will warp it.
Yeah, it will.
Find out the hard way.
I'm gonna just blast this off camera for a second. I want to show off a point there that's not quite. Did I not record that? Yeah, see, this is a thing I do all the time where I just don't record it. So with this, I'm just going to record me heat gunning it a little bit. Be like, look, it totally works. All right, so you guys will know when you watch this later on that Bill didn't actually record that. A little bit. Again, though, this will be like 2 seconds of footage, maybe. Mostly just to show off a specific thing. Oh, I can't. That is challenging. I can't get any closer, but I have my macro lenses. I don't know where they went. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm not sure what mat Svetlana uses for using all her Worbla. Like, she uses Worbla all the time. I'm wondering if it's one of those baking mats you use you put like cookies on them and stuff. We have one upstairs. I assume they're very heat resistant because they go in the oven. So she might be using one of those. They're like silicone or something. It's kind of what they feel like. Something very high heat resistant. Cutting mats definitely will not survive.
Here we go. These things are really neat. These are macro filters. It's like a macro lens for your camera, only way cheaper. They're not as good, but they screw onto the front of the camera so that I can focus on things closer. So
yeah, with our current lenses, we don't really have a close lens.
Right. Again, not the best solution, but it is the cheapest solution.
Yeah.
So now I want to get a shot of this tiny little detail that I have.
That's a good point, Avatar. I don't think those baking mats are cutting resistant at all. I think you just use it for heating things. So you'd have your cutting areas and you'd have your heating areas, but I'm not sure. I'll have to get Svetlana on the show again. We haven't had them on in a while on Prop Live.
Right.
I have so many questions, and they have their new shop now, which is awesome.
There we go. All right. Another thing to point out, too, before I started recording, I made sure that the battery on the camera is full and that the memory cards were empty. Because I've done both of those things. Where you start shooting and immediately the battery dies, or you start shooting and the card is full. All right, let's do that guy, and then that's going to be something else that I'm shooting. Different technique. Record. Me. This is so sloppy.
I think it looks great.
The other challenge right now is I want to do that, but I know my hand will be in front of the camera. Another thing I've done, I did this yesterday when I was filming, is I cut stuff with my left hand because then I knew, and I'm not left-handed. There's the video, it's me just going like, left hand, and it looked all right.
I was doing that with a Dremel, and it looked ridiculous.
Let's cut some lines across this. Why not?
Yeah, it is challenging to always remember to not put your head in the video, or
I do that all the time.
or cover all your work with your hand.
Yep.
It'd be a lot easier if you just had a camera person.
Yeah.
Like if you watch any of the tested videos, they have a camera guy.
I need a Joey.
Yeah, Joey is awesome, but he has some kind of like camera mount that's attached to him, I believe. It seems like
It depends.
Yeah.
They have a lot of different solutions.
But he'll be able to move around and it won't have any camera shake, and it looks so good. I love their videos.
Let's do that again. Make sure I'm actually recording. There we go. A really sloppy looking thing. All right.
I think it looks great.
It looks so good. This is an example. So I want to cut through a piece, and I want to do an example of it poorly. So I'm going to do that with this piece. So I'm going to draw some lines on it real quick. That, and then circle like that. All right. All right. I want to be able to show like the angle. Oh, I could cut it out at a bad angle.
Oh, just don't hurt yourself. It's always important to keep what you're cutting toward out of the way, just like cooking.
Can I keep checking to make sure that I'm in focus?
Are you doing an example where you're cutting over the line?
No, I'm cutting at an angle. I want this to be, these should be 90-degree angles, but I'm doing it poorly on purpose.
Huh. Apparently
Didn't even cut through.
Apparently using the heat gun next to the mic is no good.
Oh, sorry guys.
Sorry about that. Usually the Google Hangout's good about killing loud noises that are consistent, but I think the heat gun is got enough variance that it wasn't turning down the volume. If Bill used something like a scroll saw, I noticed it cuts the volume for him.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Anytime that I can see, like I'm peeking at the lens here or at the viewport while I'm going. Anytime I can do that and make sure everything's in focus and in frame, then I do that. All right, and then this is the good one. This is the good take, everybody. Let's see here. Mm-hmm. Actually, I want to do an example using this different knife. I will show it off. And then I will cut with it. All right.
It's one of those nice curved X-Acto blades, right? The
yep.
They called convex or concave?
I don't know.
Oh. Yeah, if you go to, was it McMastercar? It's a dangerous website where.
Was it Micromark actually? Was that the one where the magazine you were looking through?
Yeah, but the website, McMastercar.
Yeah.
That's they have a whole knife blade section, and if you look at all the different kinds of X-Acto blades, like specialized ones you can buy, it's like, oh, what can I use that for? And then you want to buy all of them. But also Micromark, we get their magazine, and they focus on small hobby projects. So they have adorable tiny tools and all these tiny blades, and that looks perfect.
Yay. It's pretty good.
Well, your standards are a lot higher than mine.
Then I want to show how I can push this in, glue the back of it, and keep it like that. So I actually need the hot glue gun. It should already be plugged in. Can you move? Could you hand me the hot glue gun?
I didn't realize I was working next to a hot glue gun. Everything's cool.
Except for that hot glue gun.
For someone's wondering in the chat, what was it? Designy NL is wondering what program you guys use to record the voiceover.
It all gets recorded onto an external audio device, the Tascam DR05.
And then you drop it right in.
Then it all goes into Adobe Premiere.
Do you think you'll do a live stream of you editing the video together?
Yeah, I want to, for sure.
So maybe do that sometime this weekend or before Monday, since that's when we want to have the episode up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it'll be good to show a live stream of how Bill edits. He's really good at it. He's something he used to do back in his former life was a little bit of video editing. Also, we love watching videos by the guys Film Riot. You can find them on YouTube. They do video editing tutorials. They do a lot of the special effects stuff, but a lot of their earlier videos are just, how to use the programs. So it's neat. The Film Riot guys are hilarious too.
The other thing I want to show off is the indent I did on the Mass Effect thing. So I was going to do stuff with the scroll saw, but I think I'll hold off on that. I think we have enough content here. So I'm going to cross that out. The heat gun, I just go over, like I have my notes here. I'm just going over everything, making sure I hit everything that I wanted to do. Through cuts. And then let's see this Mass Effect armor thing, which I think I need more foam for. Yeah, I got more foam. Hey, I have a whole crap load of foam right down here. How about that? I'm going to...
So you do all your editing in Adobe Premiere?
Yes.
So we have Adobe has this really cool system now where you can get subscriptions of their programs, and they also have packages of subscriptions. So there's like a photography package, so you can get their like photography programs and just pay a monthly fee to use them. So whenever they do updates, you get the updates, and you don't have to worry about buying the newest version. So we have Photoshop, Adobe Premiere. I use InDesign for book layouts for physical books. We'll probably use that for future ebooks as well.
Oh, yeah.
I like how it looks like you're drawing on a blown out white piece of paper. So yeah, for us, that's just a really good system because Bill loves using Adobe Premiere, so that way he can just have the newest version always. We just have a monthly fee that we pay. And you can get it like for us a year's subscription worth too for less and things like that.
Mm-hmm. I'm just making a little design to use real fast.
For the books, I use, it's called InDesign, right?
Yes.
I'll put it in the chat. Adobe InDesign. It wasn't too hard to learn. It's got a lot of, all the Adobe stuff has similar interfaces. So if you've ever used Photoshop, it has similar things. One of the things I love about having the subscription through Adobe is I get to use all of their fonts. And it's all legal and everything, so I don't have to worry about having a font in a book that I could get in trouble for.
Which you can. Like, you need to own the rights to, or have secured the rights to fonts, believe it or not.
Yep.
When you are,
especially print books, it seems like they're
yeah.
When I was doing research on having a print book, you want to make sure you have all the rights to all the photos and rights to the program you use to make the book and the fonts you used in the book. Yeah, and there's a lot of you can create templates in InDesign, so you can make sure all your pages look the same and use the same layout, which is hard to set up at first. It takes a while, but once you do, it makes adding the book in there really fast.
I'm wondering if this is even in focus. So I'm going to do this. This is, I don't know if you can get footage of this, but this is
I
how.
can see it.
Can you point the camera at me?
It's pointed at you.
Yeah, this is me hugging the camera to get the shot that I need. Okay, I have enough of it. I'm just going to finish it up. Liberate all of that. I know for this part I'm going to be like, oh, and then I clean it up a little bit. And I know that this shot's going to be, the part where I talk is going to be like 2 seconds long. So I'm not fretting over like the quality of this footage. I need to get like one shot of me trimming the edge of this. Just cleaning it up. Again, it's all just so I can make a point. It doesn't need to be.
What's the point you're making?
Just that the surface of this is all that matters.
Oh, so the back can be all
the back
gross.
can be all mangled.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you had a question one time about do you finish the inside of your costumes and make them look nice? It's like, oh, inside of our costumes do not look nice. It's all an illusion.
There we go. So this one actually needs to be cut out nicely. This is something I've actually been wanting to show off for a long time because I did that Mass Effect armor so long ago that and I never fully went into how I did those weird shapes. And cut through. And then this piece is going to go in there. Then I'm gonna film me gluing it. So I think I need a wider shot of that. Go get my glue. All right. Almost there. Throw a bunch of this stuff away.
Are you done with the hot glue? Or are you still using it?
I am done with the hot glue.
All right, I'm going to unplug it. Remember, folks, don't leave your hot glue plugged in when you're not around. It'll just ooze everywhere and smell like burning after a while.
Some barge, get a brush. All right, now I'm going to be gluing it.
Yeah, we have so many projects we're still finishing for BlizzCon this year. We're going to do some simpler costumes. Bill needs simpler costumes anyway, ones that can fit in luggage better. So we're just going to do some Diablo characters. I know Jackie Craft is working on a Crusader.
Yeah, Crusader.
Bill will probably have a more like a casual Crusader, as casual as they can be, like not do the shield, have a two-handed axe, and I think I'm going to be a monk because there are a lot of cloth.
This glue is really
Thick. I need to thin it a little bit. A little cup or something.
I'm going to open the door next to us since we are now using barge. It is nice outside.
Yeah. Herc. Oh, we have a Q&A thing. You want to pop that?
Sweet. Albert wonders, hello, what are you building? Or is it just a random piece?
Albert, we are filming a fully sort of produced video for our YouTube channel. And wow, this barge is gross. So these are just example pieces. They're not really anything in particular.
Yeah, just kind of like different techniques.
Yep. So I'm actually just spreading the glue. This is a little trickery here. This glue was being finicky. I'm not recording this right now because I'm just doing what's necessary for the build. But I am going to go film me spreading glue because that was just really a pain in the ass. So I'll do this. Make sure it's done properly. A lot of times when you're filming video, you can't hold it right up to your face. If you move it around, you move it out of frame, which is a pain. So I just do the work and then sort of film me doing a mock of the work, or not a mock, but you know what I mean.
Yep.
There, and now I'm like, oh, I'm totally spreading glue.
No, it's all about just getting the point across.
Exactly.
And the techniques.
That is a lot of glue. And I have to hold my body all funny to make sure that it actually gets filmed. Sometimes too, I know I only need a couple seconds of this, so I'll do it in a couple of different positions and hope that I got it. Yeah. Well, I wanted to show me cutting out like a V cut too. I'll have to something else. I sometimes when you're filming, you're like, oh, that's a thing I wanted to make sure I got. So the good news is, while I wait for this glue to dry, I can film something else. So I just set that aside for a moment and put this glue all back together, close it, done with it.
Make sure, folks, to wear a respirator when you use bars.
Yep. Putting it away. There we go. All right. Ruler. Just hugging my camera. I love you, camera. That's not going as smoothly. That means is my knife isn't sharp enough. Sharpen, wipe it off, cut it again. All right, let's do it like that.
Yeah, the convention in New York City called Construct. Bill was a guest there doing a live workshop. There was also, they also did panels with like live demos, I believe, but the workshop he did was on how to make a foam knife from Destiny. So he handed out templates and then had everyone have their own little workstations. They made their own little foam weapons. They had like their own Dremels and stuff that like were provided, which is pretty awesome. It's neat. It's something that I think we want to try out here in Seattle with one of the conventions coming up, possibly. Try a little workshop.
Oh, my memory card is getting pretty full.
Where do you store all your raw footage from all your videos?
I have one external hard drive. I desperately need to back up. The thing is, though, I'm not like a lot of that. I don't need to go back to. It all lives on YouTube, which again, not the best solution ever. But oh, I got some glue there. Want to grab me a paper towel? Yeah, what I've been looking at recently is getting an in-house file storage system with redundant backup, as well as doing like going with a large-scale file backup in the cloud, like Kryptonite. Or is it called Kryptonite? Or there's a number of them. Dropbox has one. Yeah, so that stuff gets stored twice locally and then in the cloud. It is a lot of footage, though. It is just a crap load of video footage. This isn't quite ready yet. Not quite ready. But I can speed it up with the heat gun. Oh, we finished the question up there.
Oh, whoops. My bad.
I ended up with a lot more glue on here than I would normally put on.
Yeah, it seems like the workshop kind of thing at conventions is bigger in other countries, especially over in Europe. It seems like they do more workshops. So if the construct goes well in New York City, I could see doing a West Coast version. Our buddy Alyssa is the one who ran that convention. It sounds like people really liked it. It was all workshop stuff, and it was took place at a studio where they sell supplies like sculpting and molding supplies.
Yeah,
the complete sculptor.
Yeah, so it was a great place to go buy stuff and then to go do cool workshops.
Let's start with that part there. Can you go look at the camera and make sure everything is kind of in focus a bit?
Yeah, it looks great.
Cool.
You could actually come forward this way a little bit. Yeah, that's perfect. Come forward. There you go.
This is the sort of thing where it is tricky. If I have to film it myself, it's really kind of tricky to do. It's nice to have someone to take a peek at it. There we go. Kind of an ugly version of what I did there, but it'll work for the video. There we go. Get away from me. I always got to make sure I film footage of what it looks like when it's all done so that I can show that off. And I have a phone call. And I'm gonna let it go voicemail. All right. Cool. So that is all the footage, I think. I don't throw these away until I'm done editing the video, until it's uploaded on YouTube in case I need those again. But now I can film the talking part. Usually I don't film it right away, but for like these quick tip sort of things, it's really great to do it while it's still fresh in my head. I have my notes here, but I just did it. So I kind of remember everything I just did. So it'll be really helpful to film it right away. So I'm going to go do that and you guys can watch. And it'll be really fun watching me talk at the camera, screwing up. I do know I need lights, and I'll use this guy here. Here. That's going to get clamped to the ceiling. Here. This guy here is not bright enough to really do much good. And so it just gets put away. Like that. So I usually stand right here with my back to you guys. We'll move. We can actually let's move the camera over there.
Oh, I have a quick question. Okay. I will answer.
Drop this camera.
Joe was wondering for our interviews if we ever just upload the audio. We do. For every Prop Live Q&A, there is an audio version that we upload as a podcast. If you go on iTunes, you can find the Prop Live. But also, if you go to every Prop Live Q&A episode on Bill's website, his Punished Props website, you will see the audio, standalone audio listed below the video, and there's a little RSS feed you can click on to subscribe there. So yeah, it's not. I mean, just the audio is good because Bill uses physical examples in the Prop Live Q&As, but it's still. I mean, if you're in the car or something, it's still good to listen to. It's still lots of great information there.
Can you? Is that this camera here? No, can you swap to that one? Boop. Does that work if I'm going to be here talking? Is that a good spot? Maybe.
Yeah. It's move it up a little.
You guys get to see the vent. Cool. You guys get that view. So this is. I have a line on the ground here, and that's where I usually stand when I do my videos. And then this guy usually goes over here. And that light is going to be a problem. We'll leave this running in the background. So when I'm talking in the video, here we can actually turn the screensaver so that it won't turn on after 1 minute. How about 15? Okay. Cool. And then I need so you're gonna have to move, Brett.
All right, guys. I'll see you after Bill's done with his recording.
Yeah, I'm gonna just move that down and just swap over to the other the work cam.
Boop.
Like that. So this is in the background, and this microphone can live there. That's fine. So you guys can hear me. And then this is my trick for making sure I'm in focus, because I moved this tripod so that it's up to where my head is. Just so kludgy. So that's where my head's going to be, and then I go to this camera and I focus. Burp, burp, burp. Cool. All right. So I stand here. Well, first, I record 10 seconds of footage so that I can tell. Again, this is where a monitor would be awesome, but I'll record a little bit so that I can see if I'm in focus and see that the exposure is good and everything. That's going. I'm going to stand here and talk. Blur to blur to blur. Whee! Checking it out. And it looks good. Now all I have to do is set up my audio. So I've got my lavalier mic, which goes in my shirt. This. I'll just sort of stick that there, and that looks like it'll be fine. I make sure that the lavalier mic is on, and then I plug it into my digital audio recorder like that. Fire it up. It's going to go there. And I make sure that there's actual audio coming through. Yeah, the light turned off. But when those levels are bumping around and just going to the right place, that means that I'm actually recording audio. So that's what I do. And then I think I'm just about ready to go. All right. We're going to roll here. Do it in the first try, everybody. Those are recording. That goes in my pocket. Perfect. All right, I have my notes right here. Very very professional. Okay. Hey everybody, welcome to the Prop Shop again. I'm Bill, prop maker, costume maker, and your guide to making things out of EVA foam. That's right, we're continuing our trend of doing foam fabrication tips. Last time we did a little bit on, what did we do last time? This is what I do. Remember last time when we did a thing, what was that? I just filmed this yesterday. Oh, bevels, that's right. Last time we did a little bit on bevels, and the time before we did a little bit more on doing really cool foam edges. Both of those videos are linked right here, so feel free to go check those out if you want to up your foam fabrication game for your prop and costume making. Today we're going to go talk about the details, all those little lines and curves that you carve into your foam armor to make them look really cool and really intricate. For example, we have some of those lines and stuff on my Lord Shaxx costume right here. All of these little design elements are very easy to do, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Let's see here. For all of these sorts of cuts and curves and the tools for these are extremely simple and cheap. Really, you just need some sharp knives. And if you can help it, either get a whole bunch of replacement blades for those knives, or what I like to do is to use a sharpener so that as soon as the knife is dull, I can sharpen it up again and continue cutting. All right. The first thing you want to do is to draw out your designs on your foam. Whatever thing you're trying to replicate for your armor or for your prop making, just draw it out right on your foam. All of this is going to get painted later, so it doesn't matter if you can still see the ink on there or the marker. It'll be just fine. Then once you have your design laid out, you can cut your piece out normally the way you would do it with a knife or a saw like I've shown you before. However, some of these elements on this particular design are a little bit more complicated. For example, this piece on the side here has some sort of inlay cuts that you gotta cut out with a nice clean 90-degree angle. So to do so, I like to use, again, a really nice sharp knife and cut from the corner straight down into the mat. I do this for the sort of side parts, but the bit on the inside of the foam there, you've got to be a little bit careful because it's easy to overcut and damage the piece of foam that you want to keep. So I take the knife and I push it straight down, trying to make sure it goes down at a perpendicular angle to your foam, and then I draw it through the foam, and when I get to the edge, I like to kind of saw it a little bit and meet up with that edge that I cut earlier. Like most things, this requires a whole lot of practice before you really get good at it, but it's worth it to put in the time because you can get some cuts that look really nice and even look kind of machined. All right. A lot of the interior designs for your foam can be done the same way. You just, which part did I do? This guy right here? Yes. Again, I like to always start at a corner and cut away from it. That way I can push the tip of the blade into the foam, get a nice sharp corner. Then I just work my way around. Again, starting at the corner and pulling into the edge. For this particular piece, I'm only scoring it. I don't necessarily have to cut all the way through. I just go around the perimeter, cutting out the edge. In this case, since I just scored it, I can hit it with a heat gun and those edges open up, showing a really cool design below. Now, sometimes you don't get those corners perfectly. There might be a little bit of material left over. Not a problem. Just take a really sharp little knife and trim that piece up a bit, clean it up, hit it with the heat gun again, and voila, you are all done. You can these types of cuts and scoring can be done in a whole bunch of different designs. You can do rounded edges, you can connect little pieces, you can get really, really intricate with this sort of work. Again, the more you practice, the better you'll get at it. Now you can, of course, do these sort of interior cuts all the way through your foam. Again, the big thing to remember here is you want to make sure that you cut at a perpendicular angle to the foam surface, unless, of course, you want to have like an interior bevel. Now, if you don't do that, if you want nice straight cuts and you kind of go a little crazy and the blade wanders a bit as you cut it out, when you pull that piece out, you'll see that the inside is a little bit mangled. Since you can't see in there when you're cutting it, it's easy to sort of not get a couple passes to line up, kind of mangle the bit on the inside. Again, just make sure that blade is nice and perpendicular, cut really slowly, and you'll be making nice clean cuts in no time. For some of these interior cuts, if they are curved, I like to use a curved cutting blade. poke it all the way through, again, keeping it nice and perpendicular, and then sort of saw your way around the corner very slowly, but it'll get the job done. If you take your time and use the right tools, then you can have nice, clean interior cuts. Now, once you have cut out a small piece like this, you may or may not want it to just be removed. For example, on my Shack's armor, those side panels there, I cut them out, pushed them in a little bit, and then glued them in place that way. You can... This is a really great way to add just a little bit of depth to the piece of armor that you're making, and it's really quick. Again, you want to cut it out, making sure that those edges are nice and perpendicular, and then you just got to push it in to the depth that you want, and then I like to hot glue it from the back, and nobody is the wiser. You've got a really cool looking little design element on your piece. I did something really similar with my Mass Effect armor years ago, except instead of it having a nice sharp edge around that indent, it kind of just looked like it was dented in. What I did for that was, first, I cut out the piece that would go into the hole. I traced out my design, and then I enlarged it just a little bit. And then I trimmed it out using sort of like an interior bevel cut. Excuse me. It doesn't need to be really pretty. The inner surface is going to be hidden. I just made sure there was some extra room in there for it to get mashed into the hole we're going to make later on. This piece that got cut out got cleaned up a little bit, and then I went and cut the hole for it. What you end up with is a piece that's a little bit too big that you can mash into that hole, and what ends up happening is that piece gets folded in a little bit. You have a nice little indent. Of course, once it looks good, you can go ahead and glue it in. For this particular one, I used barge contact cement to glue it into place. And then once it was in there for good. It's not coming out, and voila, I've got a really cool looking indent piece in my foam armor. And there you go, guys, a whole bunch more foam armor and costume making tips for your arsenal. Thank you guys so much for watching these videos. Again, like I said, we've got a bunch more foam tips for you and a handful of other videos right over here. If you're new to the channel, of course, subscribe, and you can catch all of these whenever they come out. What else do I have? And if you're looking for a whole bunch more foam armor making tips and tutorials, I've got a book out. It's called the Foamsmith Book, and it's available in both ebook and print version at punishprops.com. And I'm working on another one. That's right, Foamsmith 2 is going to be out pretty soon here, and it's going to be all about making foam weapons, all of your sci-fi and fantasy sweet freaking foam weapons. So stay tuned for that. Get out there and make stuff, you guys. Thanks for hanging out. That's it. That's what I do. And that was about 10 minutes, which is a lot.
Hope the audio was recorded.
It was recording.
Yay.
Thank you guys for putting up with all of that. Feeling pretty good about that one. There's a lot. Editing is going to be a bear on that, but we'll go over that. And we are just about done here. It's almost lunchtime.
Sweet.
Yes. But if you guys have any more, we got a couple of questions. If you guys have questions, throw them in the Q&A app and we will knock them out. First one comes from Elliot Miller. Do you manually sync the audio in post? No, I go to Adobe Premiere, grab the audio and video files. You can right click on them, go merge clips, and it will sync it for you. And it is perfect. Really, really easy to do. Joe wants to know, do you get nervous? Not really anymore. I've done lots of public speaking from an early age, lots and lots and lots of public speaking. And when I'm in my basement just talking at a camera, I don't even think about it anymore. And also when I'm editing myself, I just pretend it's my twin brother. see here. Another one. This one's from Elliot again. Do you have any advice on making ebooks? If you've never done an ebook, just go write one, and then write another one, and then write another one. Just be prolific. The only way you're going to get good at it is by doing it a lot.
Yeah, if you go to websites like Create Space, they have forums there that talk about ebook design.
Yeah.
So they talk about like what are good sizes to have, what are good formats to have. We kind of just copied what everyone else
Yeah,
did.
but my first ebook was a Google Doc that I just output as a PDF.
Yeah.
That's it. Done. Ebook done and out the door. Do something like that. If you get too caught up in the technical side of it, you'll never finish it.
And I think right when you export it, you can choose the image quality size. So you, if you export it and it's like, I don't know, 30 megabytes or something, you might want to trim that down, right? That would be big. I don't even know anymore. I don't remember what we did.
There you go. Just go right. That's all I gotta say. Another one from Joe. Why do you enunciate each word when you talk to the camera? That's so people can understand me. It's more important that they know the words that I'm saying than me not sounding like a jackass. I'm totally okay sounding like a jackass so long as I get my point across.
That's also just how Bill talks.
But I also kind of emulate some of the people that I watch a little bit.
Ryan Connolly from Film Riot.
Yeah, I
similar.
do.
Yeah.
I do. And it's not really even on purpose. It just kind of happened. But as soon as that camera's recording, I'm like, that's how I talk now. But again, the impetus for that was just to make sure that people can understand what I'm saying. DP Wings wants to know, I'm making some armor out of foam and I was wondering, what do you do for armor strapping and attaching it all together? Sounds like you need the Foamsmith book, available on punishedprops.com. I've got this stuff here. This is nylon webbing. Strapworks.com is a great place to get this. And most everything I have is either this and elastic with Velcro or buckles. So that's the short answer. We could do a whole seminar on straps for foam. All right, that's about it, you guys. Thanks so much for showing up. Again, I know this was short notice, but thanks for being here. And I think later on when I edit this, maybe this weekend I'll edit it. I might do another live stream while I edit, and you guys can watch that too.
That'd be really cool, I think.
Okay. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.